Welcome back to 3 Word Story, the podcast where we take 3 random words and improvise ourselves a story. In today's episode, I didn't told you. Moldova, we win. I have forewarned you.
My testosterone's climbing, can't you see? Injecting needles just feels so beefy. But these gains ain't worth the pain.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 3. Hello, Dylan. How are you today?
Very slow, James. Actually, slower than usual. I know some people normally make comments about how slow I think.
And do and act, and we're going to have to turn you from 1.5 fast forward to 2 for this episode.
100%.
I guess before we get into our stories, before we get into our 3 words, we should probably explain why we sound particularly husky and sexy today, coming in your ears at 5 o'clock on a Sunday, because we were too fucking hungover this morning to come in any earlier. So I would say we had quite a sesh yesterday. I think you would say it was pretty sessional.
Yeah, so, I mean, I actually really enjoyed it. It was a 12-hour drinking session.
It's 12 hours. It was more of a working day, more than a working day of just drinking. It was for my pre-birthday, so it was my birthday eve celebrations in my family. Like the Queen, I like to celebrate as much birthdays as possible in the month. So instead of celebrating on Monday, which is a shit day for a birthday, we did it in style. So you could say I dived into the day with Skydive Dubai.
Again, wow,
The
starting off
questioning
strong.
on your
I
face was
like,
fucking like, how can that pun go past
yeah,
you?
I'm like, how does that work? I'm like, yeah, there was a bull in the restaurant, but now I'm like, how the fuck do you link dive and bull and to this? But yeah, I completely forgot you started the day by skydiving.
I dived. So it was my very first skydive of my life. Obviously tandem with a large South African man strapped to me. As you a South African man yourself, I just fucking can't get away from you guys. But he was a pleasant gent. It was nice. He was had large framed thighs, so I felt safe at all times.
I wasn't sure where that was going. He had a large, and then I was like, you were strapped
dick.
to him.
He had a massive dick, which just made me feel so much safer. And I felt quite privileged that he got aroused. It made me feel special, because my buns must have been that sweet for him. But no, full disclosure, he did, as far as I'm aware, not get hard unless he tucks it up into his waistband, which I assume he would do. If that may happen, it's a classy thing to do.
Yeah.
So it was an early one, a 7:30 jump. I don't know if that is early for skydiving. I don't really know. And we went up in a teeny tiny plane, plummeted out, got some videos. It looked pretty sick. And now, Dylan,
Now you're hooked?
I'm hooked. I'm sky hooked. So that is me now forever. It will be a large part of my personality. 50% will be podcasting, 50% will be skydiving. I'm looking to start a business in the next 12 months, which will be me taking people on a tandem skydive and just improvising in their ear the whole way down. Wouldn't that be nice?
It's a very niche market.
It is a very niche market.
It's like, okay.
I'm not sure if it will go well, but we will just dive down and go, well, isn't it a nice way to dive into your day?
Yeah.
It's why are you unclipping yourself? Oh shit, they killed themselves.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a bit dark. So, moving on. We are a little bit hoarse for that reason, but this may be the sexiest sounding episode that we have so far. Who knows? But apologies if it's a little bit flat today. We will try and bring the zhuzh, the spunk, the energy, the prowess, the power popping to your ears with our 3-word story. So,
Drop it down low with 3-word story.
So, let's get to the stories, Dylan. So, our first workplace. Dylan, what was your first workplace?
Well, I actually was very privileged to be able to coach karate from a fairly young age. I was about 16. Then I started kind of teaching with my mum around. And then naturally after school, that kind of just was my first job, or I continued doing it just on a more full-time basis.
As in teaching karate, or you just did karate as a job? So you just threw down karate chops, split wood, and just went around in a dressing gown with a belt at all times?
That's the reason why I went into the sport, is I just wanted to wear pajamas the whole time. Yeah.
That makes sense. Your whole dress sense makes sense to me now when you come into work with a little nice nightcap on and striped pajamas.
Yeah.
Very adorable.
I did not do karate as a job. It didn't pay well, but no, I taught karate from ages 6 to, I think our oldest student was probably about 68, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure.
Wow, 1 year off the golden age. You want to be doing 69 karate all day long, ladies and gentlemen.
I actually should have known, you might have commented on.
it.
Honestly, any number that I mentioned close to the 60s, then
any number.
Definitely
Dylan,
go.
you can mention any number from minus 1 million to 1 million and beyond, and I will relate it some way to 69. Did you know that's 453,862 away from 69? Which, a little side note, we did have a little mini celebration yesterday when we reached 69 downloads of our podcast in 3 days.
And the crowd goes wild.
So I just want to say thank you so much to those who have helped us with that, our friends, family, people putting pity upon us, which I will take. I will take all 100%, your pity.
Yeah.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, bring out your pity in your droves. If you just need to mute this and just play it on record for a little pity party for James and Dylan, pity us, baby. Give us all that pity.
Pity away.
Little pity party. Pity. So... and we're now on the 3/4 of a century as well. So we're flying, Dylan. We're going to be up to 1 million in no time.
Yeah.
So karate.
Yeah, karate. That was my first job. So being in high school, I got paid fairly well. I did have more cash to spend. And then after school, that was what I enjoyed doing. And, or at least enjoyed at that particular time. And then I got money for teaching other people how to do it. So that was pretty cool. Got some interesting stories along the way. So no, it's fun. Yeah, and you kind of you meet quite a few people along the way that kind of dabble in either judo or boxing or then MMA, and so yeah, very interesting characters in the combat sports circle, as you can see online or like the UFC.
Nice. Any run-ins with Steven Seagal at any point?
No. Mr. Seagal was yes. Mr. Seagal was busy complaining that he can't get resisted.
Yeah, I know. He will always forever be complaining about getting resisted. Well, my first job, Mountain Warehouse in Weston-super-Mare High Street. Very privileged that I was taken on board by what would eventually be the best man at my wedding, Matt. It was a beautiful divine intervention where I walked in. It was the third shop I'd been in that day with my curriculum vitae, my CV. And he said, Hey, chap.
He said, hey, okay, that's pretty normal.
Hey, you little whippersnapper. Why don't you come out back for an interview? Which very naively I did. I mean, in hindsight, could have been anything.
There's a panel van at the back, and you could
have been the Harvey Weinstein of the outdoor retail world. But fortunately, he was not. It was all good. It was all above board and above trousers. So that's good. That's all above trousers.
Always good.
And I sat down and we spoke about my my hill walking in school and my team leader abilities and blah, 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 blah. And he looked at me and asked me, James, what is the name of the shop? And I went, as I frantically looked around the kitchen. Now, the kitchens of Mountain Warehouse are famous for having no branding of Mountain Warehouse in them whatsoever.
Yeah, because you scanned through that room.
I went everywhere.
Nothing.
I was
looking at mugs.
No. Smeg? No, it's not that either. King Warehouse? And it was none of those. So I said, Matt, I've got to say, I saw tents, I saw boots, I saw all these good things, and I just wanted a job here. And he said, well, that's magical, James, because my manager who hired me asked me the same question, and I didn't know it either. And the rest is history. Cool. Truly a beautiful moment. And we spent a lot of time hide and seeking in Mountain Warehouse, going into the back of the jackets and the coats in the middle of the day, obviously to try and find each other. And Matt made the unfortunate mistake of getting under the wooden bench where people tried boots on once upon a time. And It was a quiet day. I believe it was a Sunday. And then all of a sudden, a family joins us to try on some boots. So poor Matt, I just see his eyeballs like a cartoon character in the shadows looking through, potentially seeing his career and his freedom.
He is the manager.
He is the manager. He was the manager. Statutes of limitations. I think he's absolutely fine now. But there was a whole blown family sat on that bench, and his little eyes looking through. Just that it was basically looking like the bars of what he would eventually look like when he was in prison. Because not a good look. I mean, if he was discovered, I assume he would have still been above trial. So we would have had no issues. So he was very lucky. Obviously, I did catch him because I knew he was under there. So I won. Is the main part.
You won more than just the game. I mean, the fact that you had the story, got that moment. I think it's pretty funny. Pretty funny moment to kind of have in your repertoire of moments or memories to kind of look back to.
Yeah, no, we have that now. So, Dylan.
Yes.
Your 3 words for your... I mean, you were a karate instructor, so did you go to a specific place for your 3 words?
Yes, I did. So linked to that was Clip Street, which translates to Rock Street in nice. Hennep's Park. Yeah.
Wow, sounds like you lived in the Flintstones.
Yeah, that's how
just
they
across from Pebble Avenue.
Honestly, well, I think actually like the streets that followed that particular one, like close to that was all Irish kind of themed street. So it was like Killarney, Blarney,
O'Marney, O'Flarby.
Yeah, I was definitely heading towards
O'Flanagans, O'Manigans, O'Graddigans, McGettigans, O'Fettigans.
Sure. Yeah, something like that. But anyway, so Rock Street, that was the location, and linked to that location were 3 words. And this is actually, if you type in the exact address, then you get these 3 words linked to it: singing, steroid, scenes.
Ooh.
Right.
Okay.
It's great.
So they were singing, steroids, and...
Singing, steroids, and then a scene.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So we have our first perfect alliteration title. That sounds very good. Well, I mean, you should be pretty warmed up because last time we did visit a late night karaoke bar with a particular interesting genre of staff. Mr. Miyagi's, which was fantastic. So we should be warmed up. I think everyone enjoyed our singing, especially that lady who appeared to be angry at my screamer version of Jason Mraz's I'm Yours, but I assume she was actually just very passionate, because who doesn't want to hear in a nice evening bar, I'm yours, repeatedly. We should be ready to go with the singing.
100%,
nice.
yeah. All warmed up.
So we have your 3 words: singing, steroids, and
scenes.
Nice.
The scenes.
These are scenes.
The scenes of the singing. Steroids.
These are truly scenes.
Yeah.
Well, my 3 words are for Mountain Warehouse in Weston-super-Mare. Similar to yours, they do have a bit more of a flow. They don't seem as random. In fact, these don't seem random at all. I have Live, Couple, and Games. Live, Couple, and Games.
Yeah, that
I don't
works.
even have to rejig them. They're there for me in front of
100%.
it.
And that's why you rejig them, because you never do the obvious. You're like, Dylan, you know what? I'm going to switch it up.
Yeah. You may find out soon. So these are our words. And I'm just going to quickly take you back, Dylan, to our first episode. When I was worried about giving my postcode out for my original house, then I was worried it would become an Anne Frank house and blah, blah, blah. A friend pointed out to me that a postcode in England covers quite a large span. It could be 50 to 100 houses at least.
Yeah.
The information that I did give out, loft, lies, and something, actually gave the most specific location that I could possibly give for my childhood house. What a thunder cunt I am. Truly, what a fucking idiot. Trying to hide where I lived, but by also giving the audience
exactly
the most precise location that you could give, which is the great thing about What 3 Words app, is it does give you a really super specific location. So if anyone is going to keep tabs on all the places I give, I must warn you that my first home, my first workplace, my first pet, is none of my banking information. anymore. So don't even try, okay? There's no way that you'll be able to hack me or figure me out, and it's not like there's much money to take anyway. But I thought I'd get ahead of that because it could
That's fair.
Could bring me into a lot of trouble,
Sure.
especially if we're just so let's find the location of your first pet. Let's find the location of your mother's maiden name. Like, these are the kind of things that's going to get people into your bag. Okay, so Dylan, as is now tradition.
Yes,
For us, we're going to go to the Tom Tom Suite, and we're going to flip the Tom Tom Suite to see who goes first in today's 3-word story. Dylan, Tom Tom, or no Tom Tom?
I actually feel it's your turn to call it.
Okay, well, I'm going to go Tom Tom because who wants to go the stupid writing on the other side?
Yeah, because I don't know what to call the other side.
T's and C's. We'll call
T's
it
and C's. Oh, that's cool.
Tom Toms and T's and C's. Okay. We've gone Tom Tom, which means, ladies and gentlemen, today's first story will be James's. Coming right up.
Story number 1.
And back to the podcast.
Welcome back, Dylan. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Dylan. Thank you for joining. So, today's 3 words, live couple games. Now, I had a little bit of a word with myself, and I'm going to stay away from anything pornographic because I will admit, I'm still in my 20s, so these are the kind of things where your brain goes. And I will always, as far as I know, be a man, and this is where your mind usually goes. So I'm stressing that I'm pulling away anything that may be conceived as pornographic. So, as before, Dylan, I've done a little bit of research on this one.
Okay.
And I think sometimes true stories are some of the best stories that you can have in the
100%.
world. You can take,
I do agree.
Take the Tiger King, for example. That was a phenomenal story, the true, real footage that all took us by surprise. So, again, I'm going to real life for this one. This is away from the celebrity world, you'll be pleased to know, but I'm actually going to take you back to the 70s, where we had a semi-popular Olympic-style show called the Live.Couple.Games. So it's Olympic-style games, televised, on TV, around the world. It would be international countries, the big boys, China, UK, Japan, South Africa. They were all there.
Okay, listen. I know the podcast will accept your pity, but the South Africans will not accept your pity. You did not have to say this.
That's fine. Otherwise I didn't want it to cause some aggro. But I'm going to tell you the story today for the Live Couple Games and the controversy that happened in Moldova in 1972. So we're back in 1972. We have the Olympic-style live couple games. And we have the usual. We have the big players. We have China. We have Japan. And we have little old Moldova. Now, Moldova they were having a bit of a rebrand. They'd come out of pre-war times, and they were trying to get on the big stage. And what was a bigger stage at the time than the live couple games? A games where a couple or 2 people of a man and a woman would be bound together by the leg, and they would compete in Olympic-style games. Think 100-meter sprint, running down the track, but your leg is tied to the person on your side. Think high jump, which is 2 people essentially running into a horizontal bar and not getting very far at all. Think javelin, where 2 people have to run holding the same javelin,
and throw
to throw it. And that is indeed, Dylan, the live couple games. There were sports in the live couple games that were discontinued, unfortunately, after the issues of the 1932 swimming event where several people drowned. It just doesn't really work. So we're mainly track and field, fencing as well, which you have to hold the same sword. Does very well.
It was a bit of okay.
So that is the live couple games. So the live couple games are governed by CLOG, which is the Couples Legitimacy Organizer of Games. CLOG. So we have the live couple games governed by CLOG. So we have Moldova hosting for the first time. Now, Moldova at this point had never even won a medal, never even gotten to the podium before. So Moldova, the country, their people were relying on their couple, Igal and Igai. They were their ultra athletes.
Really original, yeah.
I mean, look, as I said,
Oh, sorry, yeah,
true
yeah.
stories I do
Pardon?
find are better than most.
I tend to make the mistake of genuinely thinking that these aren't real stories or well-researched stories. So
I don't know how I can stress it more.
No, 100%.
don't-
No, and
I
you've
don't.
mentioned it before. So you know
many times I make it a very clear point.
I'm going to shut up. And you know what? I'm going to listen to the story. Let's go.
I mean, so we have the factual real people of Moldova,
Igor
which
Egal.
Egal and Egal.
Oh, okay.
Egal and Egai, which are genuine
I couldn't even fucking remember that. Okay, sure.
Moldovan names. It's got nothing to do with the hangover. Moldova, if you don't know, Eastern European country, they speak Romanian, and a population in 2024 of around 2.5 million.
Okay.
So a reasonable sized country, but especially at the time, had not found their sporting prowess until Igor, Egai, and Egal
Thanks, Dylan. I don't know.
hit the stage. And they were all over Moldova. They were all over Moldova. They were on billboards. They were on TV adverts selling cornflakes and communist-style clogs. Hence the whole link between the governing body and hence why it all made. Because back then, the majority of Moldova's GDP was made making clogs for the Dutch. Not many people know that, but that is exactly how they made their money. So, Igal, 100-meter specialists. We have the heats, and these guys blitz the heats. They make their rich counterparts, China, America, the fast nations, Jamaica, they made them look like chumps in the heats, and they fly through, and the Moldovans go crazy. Yeah, they're heroes. They're national heroes, Dylan, getting into the finals. Now, everything for Moldova was really on this final. They didn't have a say in the javelin, the discus. They don't actually have horses in Moldova, so they couldn't compete in the show jumping events, which is a shame because truly it's a spectacle to watch two people riding a horse.
I just wanted to say they actually pull all their. They do the work themselves, like people ride each other. Anyway,
exactly, but they also people ride each other. That's an interesting take on it. Maybe it could have been two people riding each other for the Live.Couple.Games. So. The crowd are going wild. The anticipation is huge. It is race day, the 100-meter final. Like the Olympics, the Live.Couple.Games really centers itself around the 100-meter final. It's the show games. It's where people come to see that race smashed and the gold medals risen. Egai and Egal, they prep themselves. They set themselves on the chocks. Race starting chocks. I think that's what they're called. And they look up, the crowd silent. Now, at this point, it's important to tell you that in the Live.Couple.Games, you have to be bound together by a clog-regulated leg sleeve. So your left leg and your partner's right leg will be into this clog-regulated sleeve and bound to show that the two participants are held together and no foul play. So everyone has their clog-regulated sleeve on. The referee lifts his pistol to the sky. Moldovan fans ushered in silence. The anticipation is killing them. Bang! They're off. But for Igal and Igai, catastrophe. The crowd shocked. They cannot believe their eyes. The clog-officiated sleeve gets caught up in the chocks. Rips. And people cannot believe what they are seeing in front of them. What you would imagine when a couple are unbound in their clog-regulated sleeve, that they would split apart and fall over separate as two individual people. But what they saw was Egai and Egal were still bound at the leg. Egai and Egal were actually Siamese twins. Everyone's looking at each other, confused, shocked. What now? What happens? It does state in the rules that if anyone's clog-regulated sleeve gets caught up in the chocks, that the race must be reran. But the The clog officials are looking at each other. This is unprecedented. What does this mean? What do we do? The Americans are saying they must be banned. Get rid of them. So another one's saying, let them run. This pandemonium. Moldovans' hopes are resting on whether they can race or not. And they all start chanting together. And I've got the Romanian words here. Lasă ai să se întrege. Lasă să se întrege. Lasă să se întrege. Let them race. Let them race. Let them race. The clog officials
sound like you cursed me.
1,000 insects will now poison your anus for the next year. Lasă să se întrege. The clog officials, they turn around. They've made their decision. The Moldovan couple, Igor and Igai and Igal,
Keep it together.
They shall race. And once again, they're on the chocks. They're staring forward. The crowd know it's coming home. Very much not like England, but exactly like Moldovans. They will be bringing this gold medal home. The referee holds his pistol aloft. Pop! One leg after the other, the central large, middle leg, the out legs, and they smash and obliterate their opponents, and they take home gold for Moldova. And for the first time, any games, the Moldovan national anthem was sung. And I actually have the Moldovan national anthem here, translated to English, because I really wanted you to understand the passion behind Moldova. I speak
Romanian.
Okay.
No, just joking.
Okay,
Anyway,
well, it's too late. I've translated it. I only got the English version. Yeah. So, as they are there on the podium, medals around their necks, Moldovan flag raised, we get to hear, Moldova, my heart you have. Don't say I didn't told you. Moldova, we win. I have forewarned you. Moldova, we will dominate the world all over. Moldova. And with a tear running down the faces of the Moldovan athletes, the crowd are like, this day will always be remembered and is celebrated around the world. And whenever sports days that you have, from that day, the three-legged race was invented and spread around the world to celebrate Igai and Igal's epic victory for Moldova.
Man.
So from what started with the Live.Couple.Games on that day in 1972, we now have the birth of the internationally known three-legged race. And that's where and that's what I mean.
I normally race with 3 legs. Yeah.
You do. Is that why you waddle them? That makes sense.
100%. Yeah, it's not good.
That's
on
why
my
you're
hips.
banned from all school races as well, just running with your dick out all the time. It's not a good look. So, look, I think it was important to bring Moldova into the podcast. I don't think they get enough of a mention, which is a shame. It's a beautiful country, beautiful people.
Story number 2.
And now for the second story.
Hi, Dylan.
Hi, James. Yeah, so my turn for my story. Singing steroid scenes.
Incredible alliteration. Set you up perfectly. I'm sure there will be truly scenes after this one.
100%. Again, kind of just reiterating that my thinking was slower than normal.
God help us.
You mentioned that you weren't going to do anything, or you weren't going to mention anything pornographic. I cannot make that promise, but I did want to, I will make that promise that the next story will be all above the belt. However, for this one, it might still just kind of glance, it might just be in that direction, but no, hopefully
hopefully your next words aren't gape, vagina, spread or something like that, because it's going to make your job very, very hard. Or a very good margarine commercial, maybe. Who knows?
That's fair. Right, so singing steroid scenes. Singing steroid scenes. Now, you might just think, oh, Dylan, are you going to tell a story about The Rock in the game plan? And no.
Yeah, and yes, I am.
No, because that kind of definitely jumped to mind when I was thinking about someone singing. Might be a controversial topic, but he most likely would be on steroids. And yeah, he does a lot of scenes. But
Allegedly.
No,
Okay.
I am going to go a bit deeper, right?
Does that relate to the pornographicness?
No.
Okay, good,
No.
good, good.
So in
I didn't want
terms
if I had to close
of
my
a
eyes.
deep, a deep feeling, or at least,
Are you sure? Is this the pornographic part? Fucking
man,
go deeper for it.
my English is just leaving me right now. So let's get to the point.
Okay. Sorry.
Basic gym bro. The guy's name, Jim.
Okay, Jim.
Right.
Jim the gym bro.
Jim the gym bro.
Okay.
He has an addiction, right? And his addiction is linked to steroids, but it's probably, if you kind of dive in deeper to his addiction, it would probably be people's approval, because he needs to look like a Greek god, because he's addicted to the compliments. He's addicted to the approval, and thus he injects himself with, don't get me wrong, I'm not sure what all the steroid names would be.
Anabolics, I think, is one of them. I think she invented one of them. Anabolic steroids.
Anabolics.
I think she had something to do with that. I don't know if. And then there's an exam you have to do when you get extra test O-Rone, or it's like an O-Rone test or something like that.
Test O-Rone.
Yeah, it's an O-Rone test, I think. So
So anyway, he heard of this AA group, who is kind of like an AA group, because it wasn't just Alcoholics Anonymous. It actually included some of the other people that had addiction issues. Needless to say, most of the people at this particular AA meeting that he was looking to join were hardcore alcoholics. Cocaine addicts, quite a few things. Like, that's what I meant by deep.
Sounds like my school year, to be honest.
Some people struggle with addiction. But anyway, so Jim, again, knowing he has a problem, then figured, let me go to one of these meetings. Now they get there. It's apparently gotten great results. So he figured, let me go and see what the big hoo-ha is, and how things are this successful. The people that go there seem to cope well. Now, first day comes up with the meeting, right? However, the person heading the meeting then gives out an assignment, and the assignment is, listen, we are going to dive in deep, and I want you to observe some scenes of some of your favorite artists singing about addiction. Right?
Okay,
so
interesting.
that is kind of what we will do, and then we'll reconvene next week, and then we can kind of open up the discussion. So again, singing about addiction, or scenes of singing about addiction. And
is this the hoo-ha then? So I was going to question how many people would describe an AA meeting as a hoo-ha, but it makes total sense to me now, because it's like a singing and dancing.
It's like a
number.
hoo-ha.
It's a hoo-ha.
So now they are then convicted. Yeah, hoo-ha. Because that's what we do. We do Johnny Bravo. Yeah, that's actually still that's probably why I can't get the date, because my riz is literally me going hoo-ha, and then the girls normally aren't
like
too impressed. They're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
What's this guy
having a stroke?
Yeah,
what's wrong with
something
you?
like that.
Yeah, and you're like, well, I was trying to, and then you never hear from them again.
Look at me, baby. Anyway, so he listens to the assignment, or at least he makes some notes. he decides, all right, listen, I'm going to go back and I'm going to take this seriously and I'm going to have a think about as to why this is an issue and why I need to look perfect, why my lats need to be a certain size, why my quads need to be a certain size, etc., etc. And fast forward a week, Jim gets back and they reconvene for the meeting, and people are really delving deep or dove deep into their addiction. And songs came up like The A-Team by Ed Sheeran is about a crack cocaine addict.
And it's an AA meeting, so it's very much on brand. That makes sense. The A-Team and the AA.
AA-Team.
Sound like we're Canadian.
Breaking the Habit by Linkin Park. And people really, really described with quite some emotion and read the lyrics, and they kind of went through what those words mean to them. Some of the ladies in the group more so resonated with Sober from Demi Lovato or Recover from Natasha Bedingfield. And other people resonated more with Can't Feel My Face When I'm With You, The Weeknd.
What is phenomenal is we have put very limited amount of time in preparing these stories. And you are fucking rattling these songs, these titles, and these artists.
I actually have a problem, James.
I can't stop sniffing glue. This is the only way I can tell you.
Oh, listen, it's not the glue that's the problem.
It's just, it's like you really have an in-depth knowledge of what a potential addict may listen to and then trying to get over it. It's
100%.
I never want to see your Spotify playlist ever. It sounds like a depressing fucking place.
No,
to be.
actually, I think the people at Spotify, I think I've broken the algorithm because they can't place what I actually fucking listen to, because it might be Celtic music one day, the next day is like grunge rock, and the next day is, so he's probably it might just be Barbie Girl.
I can imagine that your algorithm has given you these like Alcoholic Anonymous or Abuse Anonymous kind of things, because they assume you're on meth because of the shit that you're listening to. This guy must be.
If he listens to Demi Lovato, he is.
So let's give him these kind of songs that make him think about his substance abuse. So, okay, so Spotify thinking you're a meth addict makes total sense.
And okay, so getting back to Jim, he got there, and people really, like I said, dove deep into the issues. However, he did not understand, or at least from a starting point, there weren't too many people referring to steroid overuse, because there aren't too many artists that suffer from steroid addiction.
It makes sense. There's
a
lot of cocaine, not so much biceps.
Biceps and things like that. So he was kind of forced to make up his own song.
Okay, all right.
And he kind of described to the person heading the meeting, saying, listen, I do apologize. Like I don't resonate with Chester Bennington. I don't resonate with these deep songs. So I have formulated my own, but I'm sure I misunderstood the assignment. So please just don't bother me, or like. Don't worry, I'll just listen.
For a big dude, Jim is definitely a bumbling fucking, apologetic kind of guy.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's just me. So he then said, no. Like, we all handle it in our own ways. We would love to hear the song. Needless to say, this is Jim's song.
Oh, wow.
He linked it to my anaconda don't want none. my testosterone's climbing, can't you see? Injecting needles just feels so beefy. But these gains ain't worth the pain. You see, 'cause my heart's racing, ain't no mystery. I like big lats, and I cannot lie. When you other gym bros can't deny that when a man with an itty-bitty waist walks in with a small thing in his pants, you get jacked. Boom. End of story. Yeah, sorry. I could not. Again, we did this with a limited amount of time, and I'm not the most lyrical person, but I would
Dylan,
definitely.
I beg to differ after an extremely unique song that I've never heard the likes of ever.
Yes.
I think that is masterful genius.
Thank you.
I think I might be able to put a backing track to that.
No,
as well.
no. Well, actually, I think I might revisit the song because, like, I was really onto something over there. I kind of struggled maybe a bit with keeping tempo, but it was very odd coming up with the idea of this. And now I had to revisit the words of "Baby Got Back," and I never thought I would kind of do that. And then I had to think about issues of the steroid addiction. Or at least steroid use and the side effects of that, and put that into a song.
And
So
and I really felt the power behind that, because you're dealing with a big subject. A lot of men and women suffer largely with these kind of abuse, and it's all about the image, and with Instagram and the internet and everything to accentuate what a perfect body should be, has really depressed people and led people down really dark avenues and sometimes even suicide. So I'm glad, Dylan, that you have managed to sum all that up, all that pain, all that negativity into really mean.
Baby got back. Baby got lats.
Baby got lats.
Back. Yeah.
That is the title. Baby got lats.
Baby got lats.
That is a great shout. Well, incredible stuff. I would love to hear that again, maybe more rehearsed. Maybe we put some music at some point.
I'll actually write out the song, and then we'll link some music to it. Because I think
the problem is this song might actually be so popular that it could accentuate steroid abuse, and people want to be like the song because he like big lats and he cannot lie.
Yeah, well, I guess just to get back to my 3 words in case you guys didn't know, but it was singing, steroids, and scenes. But yeah, I tried to connect the story of Jim going to the AA meeting, kind of just going into the scenes of the singing and then relating that to some sort of addiction, and his was steroids. So that was it. That was that.
I think beautiful stories all around. Obviously, yours of the make-believe world of Jim and the gym. I like how all of the creativity went into the song, and very little anywhere else. So
Thank you very much, Jeb.
I like how I fucked up the names, let's admit, a few times. Is that my fault? No, because they're true and real, and I did not make them up myself for comical effect.
Yeah, they weren't English names, as far as I know.
And maybe I'm being a little bit stereotypical by calling everyone Igor in Eastern Europe. So it would have been better if I was making it up to go for a name that is the same place of the location that he was from. Jim from Jim.
Jim from Jim.
I would argue genius, really, really, truly genius. And I think it's been a learning curve. I think for those who are suffering with steroid addiction, please seek help. Maybe think about your own song. If there is not that song that talks to you out there, and maybe you could start with Dylan's
therapy,
Anaconda style song. And for those out there who may be thinking that it's always the big boys who win in life, maybe you can reflect on the 1972 winning couple for Moldova, and really think anything is possible in the world.
100%.
So those were today's 3-word stories.
Mm-hmm.
I greatly apologize to anyone who has had to listen through this hungover, stricken, maybe slightly subdued. I don't know. We'll have to listen. But thank you so much for everyone who is supporting and listening to us, as with 3/4 of a century downloads already. fantastic. Thank you very much. And we've only just got started. We're listening to feedback. We're going to change it. We're going to be less hungover. And there is more to come, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be songs. There's going to be more improv. There probably will be more hangovers. But please download, follow, like, subscribe, everything you need to do. And please join me and
Dylan. Wow, Dylan, you did that well on cue.
Fucking nailed that one.
Nailed it. Dylan.
Yeah.
Jim. Yeah, name's Dylan.
Please join James and
Dylan.
next week on 3-word
Story.